Shibuya crossing, bullets raining down, and Arisu running for his life. Alice in Borderland Season 2 kicks off with pure chaos. But beneath the carnage, this season isn't just about survival. It's about courage, sacrifice, and uncovering the truth behind the deadly games. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're breaking down every major moment of Season 2, from the King of Spades' brutal ambush to the mind-bending showdown with the Queen of Hearts, and what it all means for Arisu, Usagi, and the future of Borderland. The King of Spades. Alice in Borderland Season 2 kicks off with absolute chaos at Shibuya Crossing. Arisu is sprinting for his life as bullets tear through the crowd. But before that madness, we jump back a little. 13 minutes earlier, when everything was eerily calm, Usagi, Kuina, and Chishiya are waiting for the next stage to begin, only for the silence to be broken by a distant rumble. Survivors from the beach roll up, curious about the blimps floating above the city. And then, bam! An anti-tank rifle shatters the peace, mowing people down in a senseless massacre. This is the King of Spades game, or rather, no game at all. Just survival. Arisu leads the charge to escape, but things spiral quickly. Anne and Tatta arrive with a car to save the group, though Chishiya is forced to split off. Arisu pieces things together. Maybe they need to take out all the face card bosses to move forward, collecting the full deck Hatter once theorized about. The King of Spades doesn't make it easy though. He chases them relentlessly, firing with military precision until the group barely finds shelter in a convenience store. Here, we get quieter, more emotional moments. Arisu reflecting on his old life, Usagi recalling her fractured relationship with her father. Their bond strengthens even as danger looms. With visas running out, Arisu suggests joining another game to buy time. That leads them to the King of Clubs. They need 5 players, and who shows up but Nuragi? Burnt, battered, but alive. Risky ally or ticking time bomb? Only one way to find out. The King of Clubs. Episode 2 of Alice in Borderland Season 2 throws us headfirst into one of the wildest games yet. Osmosis. The King of Clubs, Kuma, reveals he actually designed the rules himself. And honestly, it's genius and brutal all at once. Each team starts with 10,000 points to split up however they want. You can score by collecting item boxes, tagging the enemy base for a massive 10,000 point steal, or dueling another player. But here's the kicker. If you touch your own pole, you get infinite points. Sounds powerful, right? Wrong. It basically forces you to instantly eliminate the opponent you touch. High risk, high reward, and very deadly. Arisu's group tries to be smart with point distribution. Fast runners get fewer points, slower ones like Tatta carry more. They split up, with Arisu and Kuina going for items, while Usagi teams with Nuragi. Their strategy works at first, even netting them an early lead. But Kuma isn't just strong, he's crafty. His team ambushes their base, and while they lose a man, they completely swing momentum in their favor. Kuma taunts Arisu, pushing him to stop playing scared. And honestly, he's right. This whole game forces Arisu to face his hesitation. So he rallies the group to go all in on one bold move, storming the enemy base. For a moment, it looks like it could work, until everything collapses. Usagi manages to grab an item, but morale drops fast. And just when things couldn't get worse, Nuragi shows his true, twisted side, targeting Usagi with violent intent as the clock ticks down. Episode 3 of Alice in Borderland Season 2 hits hard with emotion and strategy. We open with a flashback to Tatta's old life as a mechanic. A tragic accident left his co-worker Kato disabled, and Tatta, crushed with guilt, lost his job. That helplessness mirrors his present, but this time he refuses to back down. With just minutes left in the King of Clubs game, Tatta makes a desperate gamble. Meanwhile, Arisu saves Usagi from Naragi's twisted intentions, pulling her back to safety. But Arisu can't shake Kuma's words about leadership, so he walks straight to the shore to face the King of Clubs himself. What follows is surprisingly heartfelt. Arisu thanks Kuma for teaching him the meaning of courage and teamwork. When they shake hands, Arisu somehow gains 500 points. The secret? Tatta's sacrifice. He had Arisu break his wrist, slipping his bracelet into his pocket to outsmart Kuma. It's brutal, but it turns the tide. And then comes the heartbreak. Kuma's team aren't villains. They admire him even in defeat. Kuma calls Arisu a friend, tells him not to follow someone else's path, and embraces death with dignity. His blimp explodes, and so does Tatta's life, as he bleeds out from his injury. The group is devastated, while Naragi wanders off alone, conflicted about his survival. The story then shifts to Teiyo Prison, where Chishiya finds himself in the Jack of Hearts' deadly psychological game. Collars, lies, and mistrust define solitary confinement, a twisted battle of manipulation where trust becomes the deadliest gamble of all. Episode 4 of Alice in Borderland Season 2 brings us right back to the Jack of Hearts game inside Teiyo Prison. Chishiya, ever the schemer, starts planting seeds of doubt. He convinces Matsushita, the emo kid, that Banda, the guy he's been glued to all this time, is actually a serial killer from the real world. It's classic Chishiya manipulation, but Matsushita plays dirty. He lies about Chishiya's symbol, putting him in a dangerous spot. Meanwhile, Kotoko, the timid girl, teams up with Yaba, though she's not exactly trustworthy either. Everyone's lying to everyone, and when the round ends, the truth hits like a truck. Kotoko's dead, and Matsushita reveals himself as the Jack of Hearts. Turns out, he and Kotoko were using snack packaging to secretly communicate symbols, but betrayal catches up to him, and Banda and Yaba handle business in their own brutal way. The Jack's blimp explodes, and Chishiya survives another deadly game. Cut to Arisu and Usagi, who finally get a breather. They try to hunt rabbits, only to stumble onto a massacre. Among the bodies is a dying man who whispers, "Film." Inside his RV, a projector reveals chilling footage. We see Anne exploring outside the city, noticing how nature is reclaiming the land. Kaito, the cameraman, discovers a community of survivors who recall fireworks the day they arrived. But those fireworks, maybe not fireworks at all. Before they can figure it out, the King of Spades shows up and slaughters everyone. Back in the present, the King of Spades ambushes Arisu and Usagi. In the chaos, Arisu is knocked out, and when he wakes, he's face to face with an old ally thought lost, Aguni. Chishiya versus the Jack and King of Diamonds. Episode 5 of Alice in Borderland Season 2 wastes no time pulling us back into the chaos. Usagi's alone in the woods calling out for Arisu, but he's actually with Aguni. Yes, he's alive, and a tough survivor named Akane who's been through absolute hell. We get her backstory, and it's brutal. She survived a deadly game called Boiling Point, was impaled, got infected, and ultimately had to amputate her own leg. That fight to survive explains why she's still standing. Together, the trio hatch a plan to ambush the King of Spades. They rig up smoke bombs and tripwires, using Arisu as bait. It's tense, and when the king shows up, armed with night vision and endless firepower, the whole plan crumbles. A grenade sends Arisu flying into a river. Aguni takes a bullet, and the King of Spades walks away like nothing happened. Separated once more, Arisu stumbles through an overgrown, vine-choked city, while Usagi finds new survivors, including a boy named Kota who's lost his parents. Their paths finally cross again at the next game, this time against the Queen of Spades at a construction site. The rules? A twisted mash of tag, manhunt, and chess, where players can be turned to the other side by pressing the button on their back. The kings can't be turned, and Kota ends up being chosen as king for Arisu's team. The queen quickly dominates, tilting the score 17-3, but there's a twist. She seems obsessed with pulling Arisu over to her side, and just as things hit peak tension, the episode cuts off. Episode 6 of Alice in Borderland Season 2 cranks things up right from the start. Usagi tries to fend off the Queen of Spades, giving an emotional speech that flips a few of the Queen's loyal followers. She reminds them there's more at stake than just surviving under someone else's rule. It's about beating the face cards and finally going home. Her words hit hard, and slowly the tide begins to turn. Arisu, meanwhile, gets cornered but manages a daring escape by swinging to safety, leading the team to trap and defeat the queen. On the rooftop, Arisu presses her for answers, but she only teases that clearing all the games will reveal the truth before leaping to her death, struck down mid-fall by the laser. With the queen gone, Arisu and Usagi regroup and stumble into a strange oasis, a hot spring in the ruins of a stadium. Their brief romantic moment is interrupted when they discover a corpse in the walls, a reminder of how fragile this world really is. Elsewhere, Kuina reflects on her past at the hospital, and Anne, inspired by a fallen deer, decides not to give up. But the real spotlight shifts to Chishiya, who finds himself in the King of Diamonds' deadly game, Beauty Contest. It's a brutal, psychological battle of math, logic, and morality, with sulfuric acid waiting for the losers. Facing Master Kuzuryu, a former lawyer, Chishiya uses deduction and wit to stay alive. In the end, Kuzuryu sacrifices himself, letting Chishiya win, a haunting moment that ties fairness, sacrifice, and survival together. The truth behind Borderland. Episode 7 of Alice in Borderland Season 2 is pure chaos and heartbreak from start to finish. Naragi is back to his old sadistic ways, determined to make everyone suffer. While Kuina and An push through the remaining face card games, the battlefield shrinks until only 2 blimps remain, the King of Spades and the Queen of Hearts. Out at Shibuya Crossing, Arisu reunites with Chishiya, but their moment is cut short when Naragi shows up and shoots him. What follows is a twisted game of Russian roulette, with Naragi trying to drag everyone down with him. When Usagi steps in, Naragi fires at her, but Chishiya sacrifices himself, taking the bullet and collapsing. It's a gut punch, especially since Chishiya had just embraced making his own choices in this world. There's no time to grieve, though, because the King of Spades blimp looms overhead. The group bands together in a desperate battle against a relentless military commando clad in body armor. It's brutal. Akane riddled with bullets, Kuina stabbed, Usagi slashed, An fatally wounded. Even then, the king refuses to die. Aguni, battered but unyielding, leads the final push, luring him into a drugstore rigged to explode. In a blaze of fire, Aguni and Arisu barely survive, while Aguni grants the king a final act of mercy before collapsing himself. By the end, An is gone. Kuina is broken, and Chishiya clings to life. Only Arisu and Usagi remain standing as the final blimp arrives.
The Queen of Hearts, revealed to be none other than Mira, and fittingly, she invites them to a game of croquet. The finale of Alice in Borderland Season 2 wastes no time throwing us into the aftermath of the carnage. Aguni and Akane are barely clinging to life, Anne has passed, and the others are broken and bleeding when the last blimp appears, the Queen of Hearts. And who else could it be but Mira?
Croquet. Sounds easy enough. Arisu and Usagi just need to finish 3 rounds without quitting. Win or lose doesn't matter. But, of course, it's never that simple. Mira uses every trick in the book, stalling, distracting, and even inviting them for tea mid-match. During this break, she messes with Arisu's
Arisu's mind, spinning wild stories about aliens, simulations, even therapy. For a moment, it feels like she's his psychiatrist, and everything he's experienced has just been trauma-induced fantasy. But Usagi isn't having it. Bleeding and broken, she puts everything on the line to snap Arisu out of it. Their bond, the love they've found in this nightmare, cuts through Mira's illusions. Arisu refuses to give up, and together they finish the game. Mira wins croquet, but by simply enduring, Arisu and Usagi claim victory. Mira smiles, promises the truth will come soon, and vanishes in a blaze of fireworks. The survivors then face a choice: stay in this world as residents or return. Most decline. And when Arisu wakes, we see why. A meteorite really did devastate Tokyo. The game world was a limbo between life and death. And as Arisu and Usagi walk away together, the camera lingers on a single card: the Joker. A tease, a warning, or maybe another game. Our nerdy thoughts. And that's season 2 of Alice in Borderland. A brutal, emotional ride, packed with heartbreak, strategy, and mind games that left us questioning reality itself. But with that Joker tease, one thing's for sure: Borderland's story isn't finished. What did you think of the finale? And what do you think the Joker really means? Drop your theories in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite shows.
What the heck, I'll laugh anyway.